Today, I am going to show you one movie. Do you want to watch a movie? Don't shock. It's not a joke. Seriously, I'm asking you, do you want to watch a movie in which you are the hero and you are the villain as well? Isn't it interesting? So what do you say? Want to watch it? Yes or no? If yes, then watch this video. Otherwise, skip this video. Jai Swaminarayan. Dear devotees, do you know what happens at the time of death? Have you ever experienced it? Yeah, of course, we all have experienced it, but now we don't remember, isn't it? In scripture, it is beautifully described that when we are a couple of moments away from the death, we see our own full movie. Whatever good, bad karmas we have done in our life, whatever Pap Punya, devotion, is done in our life, those all karmas blow in our memory. Those all karmas, good, bad memories appear in front of our eyes. It reels in front of our eyes. This is how we watch our own movie. This is the movie directed by ourselves, played by ourselves, and also watched by ourselves. And at the end of this movie, at the climax of the movie, we die. But what is so special about this? Why are we discussing about this? What is the point here? In our scripture it is said, Upanishad it is said, Ante ya matihi sa gatihi. As is the memory at the time of death, so will be the movement after the death. What we remember at the time of death decides where we will go and what we will become after the death. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita also it is said, Yam yam bhavam smaranvapi tyajatyante kalevaram tam tam eveti konteya sada tadbhava bhavita. In short, the conclusion is, the last memory determines whether we go to the hell, whether we go to the heaven, Badrikashram, Shweddeep, Vaikunt Dham, Golok Dham or Akshar Dham. The last memory determines whether we become human being, animals, birds, reptiles, ghost after the death. As a devotee of God, as a devotee of Bhagavan Swaminarayan, our last memory should be of the Murti of Bhagavan Swaminarayan. If we remember Bhagavan Swaminarayan at the end, at the time of death, we go to the Akshardham. And if we missed, we are sure to suffer in the cycle of birth and death. But you know, there are some smart devotees, they think that okay, this is the point, last memory, that's it. So they think that now let's enjoy the life, worldly pleasures. And at the last moment, we will remember God, Bhagavan Swaminarayan, and we will reach Akshardham directly. Wow, what a wonderful idea, isn't it? But my dear smart devotees, it won't happen like that, because there is a twist in the story. And what is the twist? We cannot remember what we want to remember at the time of death, because we lose the control of our memory, our mind and our intelligence. Now you may raise a doubt that without intelligence, how memory will appear? Memory will appear automatically. Based on what? Whatever karmas you have done with intensity, with force, whatever you have sinned with intensity, whatever you have listened with intensity, those kind of memories will appear in your mind at the time of death. The intensity behind the karmas will determine the memory at the time of death. Now, if this is the case, then what is the solution? How can we remember God at the last moment? My dear devotees, Ante ya matihi sa gatihi. We have to understand this statement of Upanishad in a different way. Ya matihi sa ante gatihi. That means, as is the memory now, so will be the movement after the death. If we remember God now, only then we can remember God at the end of the life. at the time of death. That is why Premanand Swami asked the sixth boon from Bhagavan Swaminarayan that, "O Maharaj, Nath nirantar darshatava tavdasan ko das. Please give me darshan of you and your devotees always." Here darshan means physical darshan as well as mental darshan, which means mental memories. Sometimes, physical darshan of God, saints and devotees will be difficult. But it is always possible to have the memories of God, saints and devotees anytime and all the time. That is why Premanand Swami asked to have always darshan of God and His saints and devotees. Now the question arises that we should remember and love God. But why should we remember and love saints and devotees? They are not God. Then why should we remember them? Dear devotees, let me explain with psychology. Tell me, if I say Hanumanji, tell me what comes to your mind? What comes to your mind along with Hanumanji? What appears in your memory along with Hanumanji? If I say Radhaji, tell me what appears in your memory? If I say Mirabai, if I say Prahladji, Naradji, Arjun, tell me what appears in your memory along with them? God, right? This is the psychology. Whenever we remember any person in our mind, whatever the people, things or incidents are connected with that person will also appear in our memory. Remember, our mind recalls the similar kinds of memories together. Similarly, saints and devotees are connected with God. If we remember them, we also remember God. In Vachanamritam, Bhagavan Swaminarayan said that if at the time of death one forgets the divine form of God, but remembers the saints and devotees, then with that association, the God's form also will be remembered. By the help of the memory of saints and devotees, we also get the memory of God at the time of death. That is why we must have love and affection with saints and devotees, though they are not God. Dear devotees, today we have to learn how to increase the memory and remembrance of God, Bhagavan Swaminarayan, now, so that we can remember the divine form of Bhagavan Swaminarayan at the last moment. But let me ask you one small question. Have you ever observed, whenever you are free, when your mind is free, what comes to your memory? Have you ever observed the movement of your mind? What comes in your mind when it is free? Remember, whatever has touched to your heart, whatever has made you emotional, that will appear in your memory. It could be anything, any person, any incident which made you emotional, which has touched to your heart, that will definitely appear in your memory. Now the most important question is, what is touching to your heart nowadays? What is making you emotional nowadays? Is it any post came in the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp? Or is it any Netflix web series which is touching to your heart? Or is it any Hollywood, Bollywood, Tollywood movie scenes? Or is it any Marvel heroes, Bollywood celebrities, Tollywood heroes, actors, extras? Or is it any video games touching to your heart? Or is it any trivial things, vulgar things, dirty things touching to your heart? Remember, whatever is touching to your heart will definitely appear in your memory. Seriously, just imagine for a moment. If any one of these appear in your last memory, can you guess what will be your movement after the death? Think yourself. Can you understand the dangerousness of watching and enjoying such kind of things? We just think that we are just watching it for some times, for recreation, for refreshment. But one wrong memory is good enough to destroy your salvation, to destroy your whole life spiritual effort. And don't you remember the example of King Bharat? At last moment he remembered baby deer. Though he had renounced his kingdom, royal pleasures, and he performed penance and devotion for whole life. Though, because of one wrong memory, King Bharat lost his salvation. Then what about us? So my dear devotees, we have to make sure that we remember God at last time. Of course, we are living in the 21st century, in the age of distraction, in the age of social media, cinema, web series, video games, etc. It's the biggest challenge for any God seeker to not to get distracted by these distractions. And nowadays, it is spreading like a tsunami, dragging everyone to sink in it. But can you tell me, who can be survived from the tsunami? Only the one who goes far away from the tsunami zone in advance. Similarly, if we want to survive from the tsunami of media and movies, then we also have to go far away from it. We have to give it up. Of course, it's difficult, but it's not impossible. Ask this question to yourself. Do you want to go to the Akshardham in the timeless service of Bhagavan Swaminarayan? Yes or no? Do you want to be free from the cycle of birth and death, suffering of birth and death? Do you want to get everlasting happiness, joy? Do you want to make this birth as your last birth? If your answer is yes, then you must give up this distraction, and you can give up these distractions. Lastly, you may raise a question that if you stop watching such kind of things, then how to manage the demand of entertainment rising from within? It's a genuine question. The answer of this question is replacement of entertainment. We have to replace worldly entertainment with devotional entertainment. Worldly entertainment will give you short-term pleasure. This devotional entertainment will give you long-term peace. Worldly entertainment will give you the feeling of emptiness at the end. And this devotional entertainment will give you the feeling of completeness at the end. Sometimes, in beginning, you may not feel that joy and excitement in the devotional entertainment. But once you experience the taste of devotion, you also will get that great joy and excitement in devotion. Actually, so many devotees have experienced that joy and excitement in the devotion of God. Then why can't we? We too can experience that joy, excitement and pleasure in the devotion of God by involving ourselves in these devotional entertainment activities. So my dear devotees, let's give up these distractions and let's master the memory of Murti of Bhagavan Swaminarayan now, so that we can remember the Murti of Bhagavan Swaminarayan at the end of our life, at the time of our death, and we can reach to the Akshardham. Thank you. Jai Swaminarayan.